So I'm on my way home, and I was thinking about the scene in Goodfellas when the Lufthansa heist has just happened, and the radio announcer's talking about the radio, and the camera pans to Ray Liotta as Henry Hill screaming "Jimmy!" and slapping the tile, and because he's so excited because he knew that the heist that he was a part of, went through, and they're gonna get the money and everything. Like the whole thing he planned was gonna come through. And just to hear that something great happened is I think about stuff like that all the time. And so I think it's worth revisiting like my kind of unofficial list of favorite movies. Now, if anybody asks me my favorite movie, I'll definitely, I'll have some prestige stuff in there. I'll have some silly stuff in there. I'll have some old favorites, I mean, there's definitely movies I've seen like a million, like Elf. Elf I've watched every Christmas. So, is it my favorite movie? No. Is it a movie I've seen more than almost any other movie? Yeah. Because we watch it at least once or twice every year, and that movie's about 20 some years old. So I've probably seen it like almost 100 times at this point. So anyway, and then there were movies that I watched a lot as a teenager or young adult. I think specifically like the movies of Kevin Smith, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then for whatever reason, by the mid 2000s, where when I was getting my late 20s, it's not like I don't think Kevin Smith's funny anymore. Kevin Smith's still a funny guy, still clever, still and I'll call back, but for whatever reason, I don't feel like those movies have aged well, and maybe they haven't. But I want to keep my memories pristine, so I won't go back and revisit them. I do not want to go back and watch. I think about jokes from Clerks, and that's good enough. If I go back and watch it and think to myself, oh, this is really dated or uncomfortable or whatever, then I don't want to know about it. So I'm just leaving it as is. So I'm going to tell you about the movies that I not only love watching, enjoy watching, but also movies that do not escape my head. I'm going to start with number one, and there's no suspense here. I'm just going to start with number one, The Dark Knight. This is a really basic pick because I think almost everybody, especially someone my age, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, has seen this movie about Batman and the Joker. It's the second movie of the quote-unquote Dark Knight trilogy between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. And I went and saw this on a midnight showing in 2008 when it came out. And there's it just has not left my brain since then. I will rewatch it. I'll put it on my computer in the background while I'm working. I'll watch it on an airplane as kind of comfort. And even aside from just watching it, I think about it and quote it constantly. And it's annoying to probably the people around me, but I think about the Joker coming into the meeting with the crime family, and he says, we have to kill the Batman. And I said, well, why don't you do it? He's like, well, if you're good at something, you never do it for free. And that's something I refrain in my business all the time. If you're good at something, you never do it for free. It's kind of like a clever joke or, kind of a put down or whatever, but it's also it's a good mentality to have. You want to, if you actually are good at something, if you have a skill that's applicable, you should get paid for it. And that goes from doing your job to creating art. If there has to be some kind of end result from what you're doing. There's a lot of artists who create art for the sake of art, and that's great, but also artists deserve to be compensated. So if you're good at something, you should be getting paid. And then just not even so much the Joker stuff, because that's that kind of gets into this this weird kind of Fight Club Tyler Durden thing. I think it's kind of funny, the Agent of Chaos type thing, but I don't emblemize that. I mostly just think of this the really just iconic stuff from that movie. The scene where the guy figures out who Batman is and threatens the Morgan Freeman character, trying to extort him, and he just goes like, "Do you think he's armed vigilante who beats up people, and you want to extort him? Good luck." It's like stuff like that. Like it just lives in my head constantly. And so when people talked about a year or so ago about like the Roman Empire, like, oh, why do guys think about the Roman Empire so much? Like, I never think about the Roman Empire. I could not tell you about the Roman Empire. I don't even know if Roman Empire and Roman candle or Roman coin or Rome from the B-52s they're the same thing. I don't know anything about the Roman Empire, but I do think about Batman and the Dark Knight at least once a day, every day for the last what is that, 17 years? I have a framed photograph from the movie in my office. This is where I should have cut to it, but maybe I can insert or something. With the laser engraved signatures of Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. Obviously not actual signatures, but it was still it was a nice collector piece, and again, something to put up on the wall, and it kind of proved that I'm a huge geek and everything else. So that's just a movie that just lives in my head constantly. And I'll talk about that more later in another date. I've thought about doing a real estate seminar about how everything you need to know about real estate you can learn from The Dark Knight, and just taking scenes and movies and just loosely applying it to different parts of the transaction, or negotiating with people. So it's just an idea I've had. Movie number 2 is Goodfellas. Like I just thinking about Goodfellas and how that movie also, I don't think about I don't idolize the characters. I don't want to be like that. But again, there's just something kind of effortlessly cool, and it's a very guy movie. These are all kind of guy movies. So I apologize about that. There's nothing real sensitive about these things. They're just things that I think are cool and we'll rewatch endlessly. So Goodfellas is a real guy movie. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut. That's another one I just repeat all the time. I said that to my son. He got in trouble at school over something I won't talk about, but there was another kid who was involved too, and he didn't tell his friend. And I took my son aside. I said, you got pinched and you did good. Never rat on your friends. Always keep your mouth shut. And now I'm thinking about maybe I'm kind of a toxic dad for doing that. Anyway, the third movie that I'll say is 86 Transformers. I don't need to explain it any more than that. Just countless just lines of dialogue that just roll around in my head all the time. I've got better things to do tonight than die. Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. So I'll say blank, no matter the cost. In relation to anything, or just the soundtrack made up entirely of not hits, not big huge bands in the 80s, but just that 80s music. And oh man, the soundtrack, the musical score of that movie just kicks so much ass. I'm in an alley right now, so that's where I can take my hands off the wheel. I actually can open up my garage now. So the music of that movie kicks so much ass, and I love it so much. And I felt kind of weird about it. I thought it was kind of cringe at first, and then the more I listened to it, more I realized this is an incredibly well done synthesizer score with some metal hard rock of the day and some Weird Al, and it works really well. If I had to put another movie on that list, I would say maybe The Winter Soldier, Captain America, the second Captain America movie. An amazing movie. And it's one of the few MCU type movies that I feel actually has a vibe to it for not just the style of the movie, because almost all the Marvel movies if you told me like Jon Favreau or Joss Whedon or the Russo brothers or whatever directed all of them, like I would probably believe you. This one actually was directed by the Russo brothers, but you get the idea. So it has like a tone and a vibe to it that I really like, and also it kind of has like this anti-fascist, we're not going to take it kind of message that I think resonates really well in the modern climate. If you catch my drift, and when you have we have the Shield operative who, now I got a text here. They have the Shield operative who refuses to launch at the end, and he's facing down certain death. That's like, I would love to believe that I'm that bold. I would love to believe that I'm that brave to do that if I was put in that situation. I don't know if I would be. And then finally, number 5. This is my really woke choice, as woke as sci-fi fantasy gets. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I will not apologize. It is my favorite Star Wars movie. It is, I think, the best directed Star Wars movie. It's the best written Star Wars movie. It's the best performed Star Wars movie. I think the special effects are fantastic. I love the message of it. I have only seen, I think, the movie that came after it, Rise of Skywalker, I think once or twice. But again, like Last Jedi is like something I'll just watch on the plane, or like, it's on Disney Plus. I'll just hit play and just like watch it for like an hour or whatever. Skip around scenes. The throne room with Kylo Ren and Rey teaming up. Like, to me, that was like I held my breath when I saw that in theaters. I was like, this is amazing. I love it. They're breaking down all of what people held dear about Star Wars in one movie. We don't need Sith. We don't need the Jedi. We don't need Skywalkers. We don't need this. It's like, all we need is each other, and we can forge our own paths. It doesn't matter who our parents are. We choose who we want to be. It doesn't matter if our parents were nobodies. We can still be somebody. But then they undid a lot of it with the with Rise of Skywalker, the movie after it. But I am okay with taking The Last Jedi as its own movie and not falling too far into the hate of the Rise of Skywalker. Not to get off on a tangent here, but like, it feels like the Rise of Skywalker tried to overcorrect and like pander to like the crybabies who didn't like The Last Jedi, and it ended up serving nobody. It didn't satisfy the crybaby fans, and it didn't satisfy the people who like the Last Jedi. And check the history, guys, because if you look at the reviews, all the buzz that was coming out about that movie in the week before its release, when critics had seen it and it had its premiere, but the general public hadn't seen it, it was the best Star Wars movie. It was regarded as the best Star Wars movie, and I still think it is. And I'm not saying there's not other good Star Wars movies. I really like Rogue One. I like the original trilogy. There's parts of the prequels I enjoy. I even like, I'll go to bat for Solo. But Last Jedi is the best. So that's my top 5 unofficially: Dark Knight, Goodfellas, Transformers the movie, Winter Soldier, and Last Jedi. I know it's a lot of franchise movies, but again, like, if we're talking comfort food movies, I just put on at any time, that's it. It's all franchises. I'm an idiot.